Hello, good morning, everyone. Well, is it good morning? Because it's a later deadline than usual today, which means it might not be morning for you. So I suppose good morning, Americans. Good afternoon, Europeans and Africans, perhaps. Good evening, Asians, and I suppose good night if you're in Australia or New Zealand right now. You're probably just about getting ready for bed, but need to finalise your FPL team before you do so. But regardless, no matter where you are, no matter what time it is, I hope you are. I hope you're feeling good. I hope you're feeling good about the impending deadline. What we got in the chat here, guys? 7 p.m. here in Malaysia. It's afternoon in Cyprus. Cyprus is quickly becoming one of my favourite countries, by the way. I don't know why. It's literally midnight. It says Rumblefish in New Zealand, 10 p.m. in Australia. Well, it sure is a late one. 11 a.m. South UK. You know what? I'm also in the south of the UK. Well, south-ish. And it very much is 11 a.m. for me as well. But the deadline is at 1 p.m. UK time. 7 p.m. in China. You're allowed to watch YouTube in China. Should you have told me that? Just woke up in France. What happened? Oh, I'd be pretty scared if I just woke up in France. What am I doing here? What am I doing here? 1 p.m. in Egypt, 11 a.m. in Scotland. We got South Africa here as well, Jamaica, People's Republic of Essex, incredible. 6 p.m. in Bangkok, 7 p.m. in Malaysia. Wow, we've got the gang from all around the globe, and I gotta love it, guys. I gotta love it. Always good to see people from all around the world. 1 p.m. in Latvia. I'm gonna stop listing off countries in a minute. I'm just writing up the latest team news for the stream ticker. So what has been updated since yesterday primarily is that Salah will be with the squad. Will be with the Liverpool squad this game week. So I don't know. I think that's kind of put me off Szoboszlai a little bit. I still think Szoboszlai is a fantastic pick, but it certainly for me has reduced the urgency to buy Szoboszlai, if that makes sense. It's taking that down a notch. But there you go. I think the deadline's 1:30, not 1 p.m. Best couples at 3 p.m. I mean, you're so right. I've got the time wrong, haven't I? The timer's set to 1 p.m. at the moment. Well, don't worry, we can resolve that. We can resolve that. If you just bear with me one moment, and we'll get the accurate time. Okay, so it should say, what's that? An additional 30 minutes, basically. Okay, if you just bear with me. Any news on Rice? Yeah, it's the Arsenal players. It's so annoying, guys. It really is so annoying. Arteta has been an absolute pain, a nuisance once again. No training. So there's no training pictures of Timber, Rice, and Saliba. Availability. A mystery. We're going to add that to the ticker as well. Yeah, it's Arteta. You're so frustrating. I think generally speaking, though, with those Arsenal players, I think you just got to keep them. Like, we know that their injuries. Well, I say we know. Wait, it's still the wrong time. Oh my god, I've done an additional 10 minutes. Wait, what? No, that's not even close. How have I managed that? What? Okay, right. Let's do some quick maths here. It should say how many minutes until deadline? 120, 104, 145 minutes. Apologies for that. Is Hincapié a good option? I mean, some people will say that Hincapié is a good option. However, he is pretty short term. If you're happy to take a short term punt, then he's great. But if not, yeah, he's a transfer out waiting to happen. But like, if you're not spending all of your transfers, if you're one of the people who, you know, maybe only spending 2 or 3 of your transfers this week, then you can have a lot of spare transfers regardless. So it's kind of like you kind of, you know, there's not real any big issue really with going for someone like Hincapié, to be honest. So yeah, I'm not really sure. How many jerseys do you own, mate? I'll tell you in a second. I just need to grab my charger. This is becoming a weekly occurrence. I need to buy a second charger and just leave it in this room. You know what? Maybe I'll ask for that as a Christmas present this year. Ask if Santa can bring me a secondary laptop charger. Although, to be honest, I'm thinking of getting a new laptop. I've had this one a few years now. Hincapié could be a placeholder for Gabriel. Yeah, I think that's the idea, isn't it? People buying Hincapié. But I have to say, I do, having, you know, obviously Arsenal fan, watching Arsenal this week, I do wonder if we could see, like, I mean, Norgard played really well at centre-back in the midweek. I thought he impressed there, even though he's not typically a centre-back. We also have seen Timber play centre-back recently with Ben White play at right-back. If Saliba's back, does that actually throw Hincapié into the danger zone for minutes a little bit? Well, maybe. But I think you could probably say the same thing about Timber, to be honest, because Ben White's played well. So it's really, really difficult. It's really, really difficult. Yeah, I mean, there's not going to be any news on Timber, unfortunately. It's just Arsenal are just so good at hiding everything. So they will intentionally. So we've seen this again this week. So if a player is doubtful, they will purposely hide them and refuse to release any training pictures featuring those players to try and, I don't know, bamboozle the opponent. Like Arteta, like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy having Arteta as Arsenal's manager, but he is a weirdo. He's like obsessed with finding every single edge he can and hiding, essentially, sometimes straight out up lying about the availability of players. Is one of the edges that he likes to find, a competitive edge that he likes to find each game week to try and bamboozle oppositions. Of course, the byproduct of that is that we're also bamboozled here as FPL managers. So there will be a million questions throughout this chat. I'm sure I'll have to answer it several times. Is Timber available? Is Timber going to play? Mate, there is no way Arsenal Football Club are going to allow that information to leak. Absolutely no way. So, I don't know. Let's I just need to finish off my ticker and then we'll throw it on screen. What are the other big pieces of news? Oh yeah, a bunch of Brighton players are now available. We'll add that to the ticker. And I don't think, is there anything else particularly interesting that's happened this week? Maybe just Munoz out for a few weeks. We'll add that in as well. Okay. And then I'll promise I will pay greater attention to the chat. And at least now, hopefully, some Arsenal-related questions will be answered down there. All right, should we have a look at my team? Probably should, shouldn't we? That's not the right page. Here we go. Hey, lovely stuff. Still not made a second transfer. So still just the one transfer made, Mateta to Thiago. 4 transfers still to go. Still struggling to be 100% convinced on either Collins or Anderson, to be honest. But I want to bring one in because I want the bench cover in case Timber doesn't play. And I think, I think Rice will probably play. Timber, I'm really, really skeptical on. That's like a 50-50 at this point. If Timber is unavailable, I want to have a player on my bench who I'm comfortable with. And Alderete and Richards are just not those guys, unfortunately. Not as much as a fan for Arteta here. Ozil Aubameyang is rocking goals, and Arteta is still not able to benefit from Gyökeres' talents. I don't really know if Gyökeres is as talented as Ozil or Aubameyang, but maybe that's just my opinion. Lots of people asking about Harry Wilson. Look, Harry Wilson's underlying numbers are terrible, but he only scores bangers, to be fair. So he is one of those players who is always going to have awful, awful numbers. 0.05 XG shot per game, but sometimes that'll find the back of the net because that's what he does. Free kick taker, corner taker, set piece extraordinaire, and got a great long shot on him. So it's difficult for me to pick him as someone who does appreciate data, but he's banging them in at the moment. He's banging them in. Jack with the super chat here says, you think Gyökeres starting and captain? Thoughts on Ben White? I honestly would not touch either player. Personally, it's a coin toss who will play out of Gyökeres, Marino, or you even have to throw Gabriel Jesus into that mix now. Now he's available. Havertz will be back in a couple of weeks too. It's going to be an absolute chaos trying to figure out who's going to be playing striker for Arsenal each week. So unless you're playing draft fantasy, I would not be buying any of these players. I certainly wouldn't be captaining them either. In terms of that striker position for Arsenal, Ben White, I think he plays this game week. Probably not even certain on that one. And then next game week after, I think Ben White drops out again and starts playing once every, could be even like once every 5 or 6 games or something stupid like that, or just playing cup games. Ben White, basically, yeah, again, not a player I'd be going for. Like in general, Arsenal are super difficult right now. The people talking about buying and captaining Rice in the chat, I can see. We'll come back to that one because Nick Kyle says, hi, Dan. I'm currently on holiday in Australia until the new year. The deadline for me is 12:30 a.m. tomorrow. Oh, wow. Fair enough. Anyways, done the change you recommended. Good to see, Nick Kyle. Good to see you, my friend. And yeah, enjoy your holiday in Australia. I'd love to go one day. But anyway, looking at the Arsenal generally, despite them playing Wolves at home, which is obviously an incredible fixture for them, it's very difficult to recommend Arsenal players right now because we don't know who's going to be playing in the forward position. The defense situation is completely unsettled as well. The back four this game week will be a different back four from next game week. That's a guarantee. And then the week after that, going to be probably a different back four again. So Arsenal's back four is unsettled. That's not me saying they won't keep clean sheets, but it is me saying, how do you pick a defender when Timber, we don't know if he's going to be available or not. Saliba, we don't know if he's going to be available or not. Lewis Skelly will probably play this game week, but next week it'll be back to Calafiori because Calafiori is suspended. How do you pick Ben White? Because as soon as some of the other defenders are available, Ben White comes back into the right back position. Timber goes back into the right back position. Hincapié looks good for a few weeks, but I don't think he is 100% nailed. But yeah, he'll play a lot. Hincapié is probably the best answer. In midfield, Declan Rice is ill. Erdegaard is eating up the minutes of Eze. like, who's going to play at left wing? Is it going to be Eze? Is it going to be Martinelli? Is Trossard going to be available again and play left wing? Arsenal are just such a pain at the moment. They really are. I think probably my top 3 Arsenal picks right now. Well, I mean, Saka, definitely. But outside of that, everyone else feels like a risk. Everyone else feels like a risk for various reasons. Other than, okay, Raya. Saka and Raya, secure. Brilliant. Fantastic. Your third Arsenal pick? Who knows? Eze looks like a nice 1-week pump. You can maybe hold him longer than that, but we've seen his minutes are risky at the moment. Unless you're on a free hit this week, it is so difficult to pick out Arsenal players. Isn't Hincapié locked in? Yes, for this week, but so is Lewis Skelly. So, you know, it's great. Hincapié looks great for this game week, but he's played a lot of minutes, and I can see him getting rested soon. Third pick, Marino, 100%. I would say absolutely not. I think Marino is a I wouldn't say bad, but he is a silly FPL pick. Great draft fantasy pick. He's in my draft fantasy team. Don't get me wrong, but Marino, will he play? Will Gyökeres play? Will Jesus play? Will Havertz play in a couple of weeks? You really want to bet that Marino's going to play every single game? Can't be done. It cannot be done. I mean, it cannot be guaranteed. Like, take a risk by all means, but that doesn't mean it's a guaranteed smart pick. Let's go through some of these super chats. We've got Quasar says start Voltemada over Dewsbury Hall. Gordon back, so yeah, start Voldemada over Dewsbury Hall for me. Ryan says triple captain Bruno / Mbermo this week or triple captain Haaland next week. I'll be more inclined to triple captain Haaland next week. In fact, that's probably what I am going to do. I think I'm going to triple captain Haaland next week. It seems like although I have to admit, I am wavering on that a little bit because West Ham, say it quietly, are improving. West Ham are improving. So I don't think that is as much of a, you know, a must triple captain as maybe it was before. But we're running out of weeks to use a triple captain. So we've got game week 16 now. Maybe Saka is a shout for triple captain this week. I don't know. Then we got 17, 18, 19. So after this week, there'll only be 3 more weeks left. 3 more options. Ugh. But anyway. I'm not sure how to say this name. Debaticha, maybe? Says Rice or Eze, and Burmo or RPLC with Bruno. Is RPLC Cunha? I don't know. I'm guessing because it seems to relate to Man United. And is James a good option? So no, James is not a good option. He's super rotation risk. Right now, I prefer Rice to Eze, but that will probably change in a couple of weeks. Hence, I don't think I'd go for either of them right now, unless you really fancy a risk. Bruno, I like, and Burmo, I like for this game week, but I certainly wouldn't be buying him. And an RPLC, I can't figure out what that stands for. Chat, any idea what RPLC stands for? Or what that means? Jack here says, my captain is Thiago. What you say? And selling Haaland. Selling Haaland is just respectfully ridiculous. No, like that is just not it's just not the play, is it? I definitely would not be selling Haaland. In terms of captaining Thiago, if you really do want to go for something different this week, then yeah, fair enough. You can go for like Thiago or Saka aside from Haaland, but yeah, I think I like Thiago as a differential captain. I won't be doing it, but and then here says Minter and Semenyo to Bruno and Dewsbury Hall for free. Maybe it's a luxury pair of transfers, but we have so many transfers that I think we can afford to make luxury moves if you are passionate about those moves. I think they probably slightly improve your team. Not by a huge amount, but you guys think they were trying to say replace? Okay, so basically talking about maybe replacing Mbermo with Bruno. If so, yeah, you could replace Mbermo with Bruno. I don't see any issue with doing that. I mean, you certainly want Bruno in the long term, don't you? And I think Bruno is generally a better pick than Mbermo. So if you think you're going to do it next week anyway, then yeah, you can go for that. You can go for that. Carl says, with Arsenal on the evening game, is there any chance of finding out if Rice was with the squad before deadline? Probably not, to be honest, mate. I would say to everyone right now, give up on finding Arsenal news. Just give up. It's just not going to happen. You're going to have to just make a prediction here, have a backup plan in place, or avoid the risk altogether. And those are kind of your choices. Chewy says, should I spend all 3 of my remaining transfers on navigating to Saka, or should I just bite the bullet and get Rice instead? It depends. If you think the other 2 transfers can meaningfully improve your team, even though you would technically be downgrading players, if you think, actually, you know what, my other transfers are either keeping those other 2 swaps that are either even or slightly better even, then yeah, I think it's probably worth doing it. It's so difficult. So Saka is probably one of, if not the best pick, full stop, for this game week. So it's going to be difficult to go without. Lisa Snay says, hey Dan, I only have Raya and Timber. Scared to only have 2 for Arsenal. Would you go for Hincapié or Rice? I could get Saka, but it's a bit more difficult to get there. It's if you really want another Arsenal player, the answer is Saka. At least the only answer I can give confidently. I could say go for Rice, but I don't want you coming back here saying, Dan, why did you go for Rice when he's been benched because he's ill, or he's out of the squad because he's ill? It could so easily happen. I don't want to say go for Hincapié and triple up on Arsenal, and either Arsenal lose their clean sheet or Hincapié gets rotated for another player next game week. It's so difficult to recommend any player other than Saka because there are so many complications with the Arsenal team right now. I really am at a point where I'm kind of thinking, is Arsenal just a team to avoid? Stick with what you've got. Unless you can buy Saka or Raya, just stick with what you've got. What if Saka doesn't start? I'd be very surprised by that because Saka was rested midweek. So I'd be very surprised if Saka didn't start. Triple captain Saka, am I cooked, Dan? No, I quite like it. I don't have the personal cojones to be making that move of triple captaining Saka. But you know what? It's something that I've thought about. FPL Studs also says Saka may not start. Look, if you want to say Saka might not start, then we can apply it to everyone at that point. I think it's just as likely that Saka's benched than Haaland's benched or Thiago's benched or Bruno's. Maybe not Bruno, but Foden's benched. So we can go on and round about the tiny chance of any player in the Premier League getting benched at any given moment. No one is ever 100%, but Saka will play. I mean, come on, let's be realistic. Let's be realistic. Should we throw in a captain poll? Let's do an early captain poll, and then we'll perhaps close it. Who is your game week 16 captain? And I'm going to put Haaland, Saka, Thiago, because I have seen a lot of Thiagos, and then we'll go other. So those of you on like Bruno or Foden or someone interesting like that. It seems like a lot of people are captaining Thiago this week. A couple of people on triple captain Saka as well. Fair enough. I don't think Wolves will be as open this game because they were against Manchester United. Just want to put it out there. And also wanted to put it out there the last time Arsenal scored 4 goals in a game, Saka got 0 goals, 0 assists. I don't know how that managed to happen, but it did. Snake here says Senesi to Timber or Rodon to Hincapié. I would probably do Rodon to Hincapié because we don't know about Timber's availability, unfortunately. So yeah, do Rodon to Hincapié. And also Senesi is going to be useful next game week. Do you think Senesi will play though? Yeah, I do. I think he probably will play. Obviously, cannot say that with certainty, but I think Senesi will probably play. And if not, you know, he's still very useful for next game week. And I do think he will play game week 17 against Burnley. Hi Dan, which two to start? Welbeck, James, Xhaka, or O'Reilly? I play O'Reilly, and I don't think Welbeck or James are going to play this game week. So unless you do, I go for Xhaka. At the very least, Welbeck and James are super high rotation risk there. And as always, I'm very hesitant about recommending super risky players. Unless they have, you know, like an incredible fixture or something, and you just have to take the risk, like with Arsenal. Hi, Dan. What is your plan for Enzo? No idea what to do with him. I think I'm just going to keep him this week. I think. Unless we get a leak that Enzo isn't starting, I think I'm just going to keep him. And then move him on next game week with a bit more information. Possibly to a City midfielder. Possibly trying to move him to Semenyo. I'm not sure how we'll do that. But look, if there's a suspension or an injury this week that shakes up the template, then that might allow me to make some interesting moves. But I think Enzo's fine for this game week. FPL Mate is here. What's up, man? Will Enzo start today? I think he will. I think he will. No guarantee. Simas is out. Welbeck more minutes. Well, actually, according to Bib Theory, I don't know if you guys are aware of Bib Theory, but Brighton in their training photos, depending on whether a player is wearing a bib in their final training session, is usually a very good indication of whether or of who is going to be starting. And it looks like it's actually going to be Jorginho Rutter who is going to be starting at striker this game week, if you believe Bib Theory. And I think it's pretty reliable, to be honest. It's pretty reliable. So yeah, I think there is a good chance that Welbeck does not play. We know he's carrying a bit of an issue. Free hit by Timber or White. Oh, if you're on a free hit, it's Ben White, easy. Who is KDH? Kieran or Kiernan? Kieran. Dewsbury Hall. Tabatia is back. Midfield Rice, Foden, Saka, and Burmo. Forwards Thiago Haaland. Goalkeepers Raya. Defenders O'Reilly. Thiago O'Reilly Alderete. Thoughts? Is it good? Should I improve my defense? Yeah, probably. You can probably improve your defense there. If you can get to an Arsenal defender, probably the only one you can recommend this game week to buy is Hincapié. Or you could go for Anderson at Fulham, Collins or Vandenberg at Brentford as well. There's a little bit there's some options there. A few people asked for a free hit draft. Let's make a quick free hit draft for you guys. Let's go for the My Team tool. Eze on free hit. What do you think? I like it. I probably would pick him on a free hit, to be honest. In fact, let's zoom in a little bit here. Can you see that okay, guys? Hopefully you can. We'll do a little quick free hit draft for you. So let's go like this. I'm going to go... Should we go... I'm going to go Lewis Skelly. Saves a bit of budget too. And then we will go Eze. Oh, that's not how you spell Eze. I'd go Dango. I'd go Anderson. Who else would I go for? Who am I missing here? Raul as a third striker? You could do either Raul or Wilson. Not both, probably. Would you go for like a Bruno G, perhaps? He's in such good form. But not really a player I'd want long term, maybe. Yeah, let's go with Bruno G. Well, you know, Chalobah's a nice little shout. The only other midfield option is maybe like a Neto. Go Neto, maybe. Could be pretty good. There's no Wilson or Raul, is there? You know what? Let's go Raul up front, and we'll downgrade the midfield a little bit. Like goalkeeper, let's pick someone with good clean sheet odds for this game week. We double up on Chelsea's defense. Let's do it. And then we'll just go cheap backup goalkeeper. Bruno Fernandes, you could do. Let's see what our budget's saying. I think we're going to be good for budget, to be fair. We'll find some cheap defenders. So let's go like Vandenberg here. And we'll go Tete, maybe. Does this back up? Do we need that much coverage? Probably not. Let's see. Oh, screw it. Let's just go Stev. Right, and then 7.5 left for a midfielder here. Oh, wait, but we don't even need this position. This is a dead spot. All right, let's do this, and then we'll start improving things. Let's go Shrewsbury Hall in here. And then let's upgrade someone somewhere. Definitely going to play you instead of you. Let's put you in the first bench. Let's put you in the second bench, maybe. And then we could just do Neto to Bruno here, couldn't we? Or we could do one of Neto or Raul to Bruno. Are you streaming all the way till deadline? I am indeed. Ekatike up front? I don't think so. I don't think I'll do that. Right, let's think here. Let's be sensible for a second. One of Neto or Raul needs to go, I think. And I don't know which one. Raul on penalties. Neto's going. Okay. How about something like... No, it's done it wrong. Something like this. For a free hit. It's not bad. Lots of players who you probably wouldn't want long term. Like, I'm probably not taking double Chelsea defense long term. I'm probably not taking Lewis Skelly or Ezra long term. I'm definitely not taking Dango long term. Even the Fulham guys, like, after this game week, I don't actually think their fixtures are that good. I mean, they're all right. Lewis Potter. I don't really, but why would you go for Lewis Potter when you can go for Dango? I guess the fact that he's a defender helps, but I don't know. It's an interesting move. You are kind of counting on it. All right. You know what? I'm leaving this as it is. This is a template. If you want to add in some differentials like Lewis Potter, go for it. This is meant to be just your basic, simple team that you can't go wrong with. You can't go wrong with this. This is a sensible team. Oh, and we're going to throw the captain's armband over to Saka as well for this team. Yes, we are. There we go. There we go. I always dream of a Saka hat-trick, but I am afraid the day may never come. Yeah, me too. Me too. Hopefully it comes this week. That'd be nice, because I'm captaining him. But anyway, there you go. There's a free hit team for you guys. To be honest, I'm leaning away from Saka the closer we get to deadline. Well, according to the chat, Saka is at 56% captain rate. You're welcome, Ben Techers. So Saka is currently in the poll, 56%. Haaland, 26%. Thiago, 12%. And 6% other. So, yeah, there are some people going against Saka. I think in the outside of our little FPL content bubble on YouTube, Twitter, or whatever else, I think most people will still captain Haaland. I mean, most people don't even own Saka, right? This was Saka's ownership, like 22%. That's nothing, really. Like, people barely even own Saka. Captaining him, that's why I kind of feel like captaining him is enough. I don't feel like triple captaining him is strictly necessary. Although I don't think it's a bad idea. But yeah, I think the majority of people in the I don't what do we even call it? Engaged, content consuming, more nerdy side to FPL will primarily captain Saka, but we're a minority really when in the grand scheme of things. Most people just captain Haaland every week and save themselves the pain and heartbreak of making that decision. Anderson or O'Reilly to start? Probably. Wait, is this if it's Fulham Anderson, then Anderson. If it's Forest Anderson, then O'Reilly. Morning, Scott. Kelleher or wait for Pope? What you do need a new goalkeeper, or do you already have Kelleher? Don't know. If you already have Kelleher, I'll keep him. Raya is the goalkeeper you need. Raya as a goalkeeper solves everything. I know it's a boring pick, but it's like I just get to chill out every week knowing my goalkeeper is just settled. Rodgers on a free hit? I don't know. Probably not. No. Probably not. We know what happened last time people picked Rodgers on a free hit. Nothing happened. Should I play Dubravka? Depends who your other goalkeeper is. If they've got a really horrible fixture, then yeah, maybe if you've got Verbruggen, then I'd maybe play Dubravka. Hey Dan, would you say Collins or Anderson and then play either one for Minter? I would tell other people to go for Anderson, but I'll probably go for Collins. Would I play them above Minter though? That's a tough question. I think I probably would, but I don't think that's a guarantee of success. Chalobah or Teta in position of Timber? I wouldn't sell Timber. Full stop. Should I still buy Raya even though he's 6 million? He just solves a lot of problems. If you feel that you have good team value, and you just don't want to play the Arsenal defense game right now, you have free transfers to burn, then yes, I would go for Raya. But if you've already used 4 out of 5 of your transfers, you are really, really tight on budget and it's going to jeopardize future transfer moves, then no, I probably wouldn't go for Raya. So it's, it's dependent, it's team dependent as always, as everything always is. Klein is a cheap Munoz replacement. He is, but I don't know. I guess you could do if you have no other Crystal Palace defenders and just want that coverage. Danny Clough says, always liking and hyping. A replacement for Chalobah next week. Happy with my 3 transfers this week, but it's bugging me. Cheers, Dan. Next week, who do the fixtures open up for next? I mean, maybe Man City. O'Reilly next week looks really good. If I'm buying a defender next week, it's probably going to be O'Reilly, to be honest. Who else looks good from next week? Not sure. Maybe you're getting towards Everton's good fixtures, maybe. So maybe a Keane or a Tarkovsky. Probably more likely to go for Keane because it's so much cheaper. Something like that. That's probably what I'd be thinking of. For like this morning, by the way. I use all the transfers and have 3 yellow Doritos. This could end badly. Yeah, that could end badly, to be honest, Paulak, but I have faith that you will pull through, my friend. I have faith you'll pull through. Confirmed your thinking, Danny? Good to hear. Anyone asking if Rice is starting? I think he probably will, but there's no guarantee. No guarantee. I think I want ingrown hair. How do you fix that? Yeah. There's just one hair on my lip which hurts to touch. If you just shave it off, does that fix it? I don't know. We got off topic. Hi, Dan. Would you start Anderson or Enzo? I would start Enzo. We have got a bench list, by the way. In fact, let's do a quick flash of the bench list. There you go. Here's one I made earlier. I'm going to remove Mateta's flag. And I'm also going to move Welbeck down because I am a little concerned around his minutes. So I'm going to put him now down here. I genuinely could be tempted to move him down even more. Pop it to release the hair. How would one even do that? Ingrowing hair should be pulled with tweezers. Don't shave. Okay, thank you for the advice, chat. As you can tell, there's clearly still gaps in my knowledge despite reaching a big age. Do you ever really truly become an adult? Do you ever truly, know all of the adult knowledge? At what age will I just know all of the things all adults know? I still have those knowledge gaps. But okay, pluck out the hair. That sounds painful. That sounds more painful than just leaving it. So, maybe we'll just leave it as it is. Or will it get infected? I don't know. You know what? I should ask my wife this. She would know these answers. But she's at work right now. I'm 52 and I still feel like a child. Wow. So okay, I've got a while to go, and with no more confidence. Brilliant. Or is it you have a childlike whimsy, Mark? You still have your fun and freedom. Maybe. Would you buy Timber or for Calafiori? Probably not. No. Where would Raul go on the bench list? I mean, right at the top. I'm not going to put Raul on the bench list. If you've bought Raul, then you're not going to bench him, are you? Mateta and Anderson for Saka and Gu. Yeah. Yeah. No, those are good moves. Those are good moves. I like it. I like it a lot. I'd go for it. Should I bench Foden for Dango? No, I don't think so. You probably managed to bench someone else for Dango, but I wouldn't make it Foden. I don't think. Should I sell Mateta or keep? I mean, I've sold him. I would, generally speaking, lead towards selling him. Why is there massive hype around Saka? Because his underlying numbers are just really good. In fact, I'll show you. Why tell when you can show? There's so much to be shown right now. All right, so let's go to some Optus stats. We'll throw it on screen for you guys. Like, people who don't watch Arsenal, I can understand why they might think that that Saka is like out of form or something like that, but it is not true. So if we go to midfielders, and let's take a 6-game week sample. It's usually the best sample size when you're trying to judge the form of attackers, or at least around that. You can go anywhere from 4 to 8, really, maybe 5 to 8. And we go for expected goal involvements. I would prefer to have it non-penalty. I don't think we have non-penalty. We can't go non-penalty goal involvements, but you're just gonna have to trust me, bro. So this is ordered by goal involvements. Bruno is above Saka, but if you take away the penalty, we actually, I believe, see Saka go above Bruno, if I've got this right. But regardless, Bruno, obviously brilliant. We agree with that one. Saka, among midfielders, second place here for expected goal involvements over the past 6 game weeks. And that includes, by the way, a sub appearance. If we go per 90, hide the low minutes players. Of course, you're going to see players like Cherky, Barnes, Garnacho, Chukwueze. Let's go per start. Yeah, again, you're going to see Saka really high here for expected goal involvement per start. So equal with Bruno and Barnes. But, you know, I think it's a case of when we know Saka's going to play, which we do, then he's going to be a really good option. So Saka, underlying numbers, tracking better than Foden. So he's taking more shots than Foden. He's creating quite a lot more than Foden, actually. And he's on penalties as well. And he's on corners. So and he's playing Wolves at home. So there's a lot of things pointing towards Saka being a good pick. A lot of things pointing towards. Now, in real life football, you don't know exactly what's going to happen, and anything can happen really. But particularly when you are a content creator and your job is to analyze and figure out, what are the most likely outcomes. And because the FPL is a prediction game, right? And we're trying to figure out what's the most likely thing to happen. We can never guarantee what will happen, but we're trying to figure out what's likely to happen. And when we see a player with great underlying numbers, on set pieces, with a good fixture, and of course it's far more complicated than this in reality, but for simplicity's sake, that usually points towards that player being a good pick. And I think that's what we're seeing with Saka this week. Marsden says Bruno versus Saka captain. It's Saka for me all day long. It is Saka for me all day long. We actually go let's go all players. Saka must be reasonably high for all players too here. We've got Haaland, Thiago, Nemecha, who's injured, Bruno, Barnes, who's rotation risk, and then Saka. Curious to see Joao Pedro here, but I think he's been propped up by one individual good game week. Whereas Saka, you can go through Saka's individual game weeks. What's that? 0.58 XG against Villa, 0.6 against Brentford, 0.19 against Chelsea, 0.11 against Spurs, 0.52 against Sunderland, 0.58 against Burnley. Most weeks he's like above 0.5 XG, with the exceptions being Chelsea and Spurs. So most game weeks, he's getting at least a very, very decent chance to score. Plus the assist potential. I mean, I watch Saka every week. He takes loads of shots. He's actually been a bit greedy recently, if I'm honest. Which I think is good from an FPL perspective. I think it's a good thing. I don't know if I'd go as far as triple captaining Saka, though. That seems a little bit too far. Jordan Talks FPL says, what shirt are you wearing? This is one of the newest shirts in my collection. In fact, it might even... Is it the newest? Yeah. Ooh. No, it's not. It's the second newest. But very quickly, it is... I'll show it off. The Seattle Sounders third shirt. And it is absolutely stunning. I do enjoy the MLS kits, but this one is special. Really do enjoy this jersey. Any Seattle Sounders fans out there? Anyone from Seattle or the surrounding areas? Who knows? Who knows? Will Timber start? Don't know. Will Timber start? Don't know. Will Mbeumo play? Probably, but not definitely. I don't know if you guys saw the video yesterday, but there is a chance that Mbeumo, Ahmad, and Mazraoui might have to go and join up with their respective AFCON teams before Manchester United play Bournemouth on Monday. So there's a chance there. Scott says, the thing I like about Saka now is his shots are closer to goal. Yep, earlier his XG came from spamming shots outside the box. Yeah, you're so right, man. Yeah, he is getting like a couple of clear-cut chances per game. You would imagine that if he's getting 2 per game, really, usually, then maybe he gets a 3 against Wolves. You'd hope he finishes 1. Then you factor in the chance of a penalty, the chance of a corner assist. It looks good. It does look good for him. It's a good week to go against Haaland, I think. We said that what a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? Or Bruno. We know how that ended up. Wasn't ideal. Bench Minter or Teta? Probably bench Minter. I don't know. I'm not mad. The thing is, I've never been particularly keen on Minter as a pick. So if you're looking for actual objective Minter advice, be aware that you're asking it from someone who's not keen on Minter as a pick generally anyway. Where I know a lot of other people were actually very keen on him and maybe saw something in him that I have not really seen. So I'm not keen on him, and I don't know. I'd think about benching him, really. Start 2, bench 1. Ketchup, brown sauce, or mustard? I will start ketchup. Can I bench both brown sauce and mustard? It's so situational. Brown sauce is better with some things. Mustard is good only on hot dogs, and only occasionally on hot dogs. So I guess in that sense, we got to bench mustard. We got to do it. Plus, Mitoma is back. I don't think Mitoma being back impacts Minter, really. He just plays so wide. Mustard with roast beef. Don't eat red meat, mate. So I cannot relate. What do you think of Ezra long term? I'm not as keen on him long term. I like him as a punt. But I think we've all seen recently in FPL how frustrating Eze has been with early subs, not starting games full stop. He's just not nailed on in this Arsenal team. He's just not a nailed on player. Now that Erdegaard is back. Alderete Hall? I doubt it, man. I doubt it. I guess you never know. Any interest in Ekatike? It might be difficult to get him, but like his mints. Yeah, I mean, if I'm going for an attacker outside of Thiago or Haaland, Ekatike would certainly be in that conversation, probably alongside Raul Jimenez. But you kind of, you've answered it really. He's just so difficult to get to, and I'm not convinced that the sacrifices you'd have to make in midfield. So you'd have to drop one of Bruno, Foden, or Saka probably to get Ekatike in, and I just don't think I'd be willing to do that. Is Burn a good option? I wouldn't be buying Burn, I'll put it that way. He's fine if you already have him, though. Is it worth considering a triple captain on Saka? A consideration, maybe, yeah. I mean, if you really want to go for it. But I think Saka is enough of a differential captain that I wouldn't feel too much pressure in triple captaining him. How much do you have in the bank, Dan? 0.9 million. Yeah, so I am looking at Alderete to Collins. That is probably the move I will make now. Will Timber play 90 minutes against Wolves? Probably not. Probably not. But that might be a good thing, Get that early clean sheet locked in. Why not? What was the thinking behind starting Chow over Alderete? I think Newcastle are a better defence than Sunderland are. So that one's as simple as that, really. However, Alderete will be sold before deadline, like 99%. We've got another hour and a half, though. BJP97 says, risk Mbeumo or use free transfers to go Bruno or Saka. Oh, I mean, I think if you have more free transfers to use, then I would go for it. I'd make the move to Bruno Saka, because you're going to have to transfer Mbeumo out next week anyway. You don't even know if he's going to play this week for 100%, and you have an opportunity to improve your team. So it makes sense. If you have plenty of free transfers, you can move Mbeumo out. Collins on 4 yellows? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You know what? I've said every video I've talked about Collins, I've said like 5 times. Yes, I know Collins has 4 yellow cards. I factored it in. Yes, I know Collins has 4 yellow cards. Collins has 4 yellow cards. I know Collins has 4 yellow cards. The reason no one else is going, well, no one, not many people are going for Collins, is because of the 4 yellow cards. But I'm a little bit more rock and roll, guys. I'm a little bit more rock and roll. Where am I deal with it, sunglasses? Sometimes I just say, you know what? I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn, guys. If I want to go for a player with 4 yellow cards, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm just built different. That's why. To clarify, the fact that I'm removing my, well, basically making Collins my 5th defender is a big part of that. Like, if I was keeping Alderete, I wouldn't be going for Collins. But, let's bring up a second tab here. But, because I'm always going to have, like, other options to play, and I've kind of gone through week by week. Actually, let's do it on, let's do a new My Team tab. I'll show you guys. Refresh this, find my team. Import your team, FPL Mate. So this one here. I've already done you out. I'm thinking of doing you out. Go Collins. And we'll go for, see how I go. And, oh wow, there's been enough price changes that it looks like I can't afford it, but I very much can. So many price changes, guys. And then, so this will be my team. Oh, wait, almost. This will be my team this week. And then, if Collins, let's assume Collins gets, by the way, Collins can only miss 1 game. He gets his 5th yellow card. He only misses 1 game, and I'll have him for all of the fixtures around that. If that game week happens to be game week 17, no problem. We've got Richards against Leeds here. We've got Chow against Chelsea. Not as keen on that one, but the defense is fine. If I can't play Collins in game week 17, hopefully I can. But if I can't, I can still cover for that. Game week 18, if I can't play Collins, again, we're going to be absolutely fine. We've got Virgil, we've got Richards, we've got Timber to play in defense. They're all absolutely fine for that game week. Maybe play Malik Chow here instead of Richards. Don't know which way this will end up. Probably Richards against Spurs. Game week 19, if I can't play Collins, I've got loads of cover, arguably too much cover this game week to the extent where I probably wouldn't play Collins this week anyway. Because we've got loads of defenders for game week 19. Game week 20, if he is suspended for game week 20. Or ideally, I would play Collins in this game week, but if I can't, then again, that's going to be absolutely fine. We've got Virgil, we've got Timber, we've got Chow. Maybe Richards, but, maybe not so much. So after that, from game week 21, there is no more risk of the 5th yellow card. He can't be suspended for game week unless he gets red card. He can't be suspended in game week 21. So, I think that's right. Pretty sure that's right. If not, get 22. But my point is, I can afford to go for Collins. If I genuinely believe Collins is a nice alternative to someone like Anderson, and I do believe that, if I have the extra money to spend, I feel like I have a good team value right now. I do. And I can afford an extra 0.3 million. And I feel I can comfortably cover Collins in every game week. If we do get unfortunate and he does pick up that 5th yellow card, and I always have cover for him, which I do, then I'm happy. Then I'm happy to go for him. Other people might not be. That's absolutely fine. So there we go. That's where my head is at with Collins, and why I think he works for me, but also why he might not necessarily work for everyone. But it's going to be a fun pick. And also, the other thing, I know everyone is going for Anderson, and I do want to put this out there. I do still think Anderson at Fulham is a good pick. But Fulham are losing a few players to AFCON, including Anderson's centre-back partner, Bassi. And nobody's really spoken about that this week. I guess I don't know why. Maybe it's because people already have Anderson or have already convinced themselves on Anderson. But no one's mentioned that Anderson will lose his centre-back partner. And I don't know who's going to come in and replace at Fulham at centre-back. Cuenca, is he available right now? Let's find. Yeah, I mean my best guess would be Cuenca playing at centre-back, who's barely played any minutes. He's played 85 minutes all Premier League season. Who else could it be? Tete, could he go at centre back? Probably not. Diop. That doesn't fill me with confidence. Whoever it is. So I do think that is something that does make Anderson slightly worse, and something that it does need to be taken into consideration that maybe people aren't taking into consideration enough. But Anderson is still a good pick. I don't know why no one's talking about that. Who are the players going to AFCON? I did make a list in yesterday's video. Maybe I can... Hang on. If I can find it. Just bear with me. And I will find it. Try and get the graphic up. In fact, I might have to edit it a little bit. You know, it'd be useful to get on screen anyway, so... This graphic? No. Is this one. Okay. I'm going to get it on screen for you guys if you bear with me. But whilst we're doing that, let's see what else is going on in the chat right now. I'm going to end the poll. We can end the poll, can't we? We can always do another one later. But it seems Saka is the preferred captain of the chat. Anderson, Nottingham Forest in midfield, or Raul at Fulham for a 3-4-3. Oh, you know what? I'd go for Raul over Anderson right now. It probably gives you less flexibility for transfers later down the line, but there's no doubt Raul is a nice pick right now. Let's open this here. Okay. Can you see that okay? Yeah, that looks good. Well done, Dan. That didn't take long. Okay, these are the players going to AFCON. This is not the complete list, but this is all of, I would say, the major, a major-ish players going to AFCON, not just from a FPL perspective, but just for their team. So there you have it. My prediction for Sunderland versus Newcastle. Oh, you want a prediction for Sunderland versus Newcastle and Palace versus Man City? Newcastle to win 2-1. And Man City to beat Palace 2-1. There you go. What do you do with Mbeumo, mate? I think at this point he is possibly a sell. Thoughts on Szoboszlai due to Gakpo injury? I like Szoboszlai. I do like him. If I'm picking up a new midfielder this week outside of the players I already have, Szoboszlai is probably the guy, to be honest. Probably the guy. Ben White versus Lewis Skelly for a free hit. I'd maybe go Lewis Skelly just because he's a bit better on the attack. Any news on United players to AFCON? That's such a good point. Have we actually got any news on that? I wonder. Hmm. See if we can find anything. Sorry, I'm just trying to find any information that we can. Apparently, Umbermo had a cryptic message. Yeah, I don't know. I can't find anything concrete here. I have no idea. No, we haven't. We basically don't have news on that one. Maybe it will leak. Maybe it will come out in the next hour. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, it's a frustrating one. I think, to be honest, at this point, I would probably just sell Burma. If I had the free transfers, I would just sell Burma. I think, just get it done. Should I triple captain Saka? If you want to, I think it's okay to do so. I'm not doing it though, but I mean you can. I don't think it's a terrible idea. Any tips to boost my rank? Don't get silly. It's too early in the season to get silly. Keep picking good players. Keep picking. No one at your rank is going to have Saka captain this week, for example. So a nice captain there, a nice player to pick up. Not many people are going to have Foden at your rank, so you can go for Foden. There's lots of things you can do still. Just keep making sensible transfers and trust the process. Is this a good free hit game week? I think a lot of people will say yes, it is, but it's always team dependent. Raya and Semenyo or Foden and Donnarumma? Well, I guess Foden and Donnarumma. I guess. But Raya and Semenyo are maybe better this week. And even maybe better next week. I don't know. Probably Foden. Any combo that involves Foden, I would pick. Start one, Dewsbury Hall or Gue. I would start Dewsbury Hall over Gue. Probable replacements from Burma. Already have Saka Minter, who will go soon. Foden and Anderson. Bruno Fernandes. Bruno or Szoboszlai, I guess. I've bought in Harry Wilson and you've put me off him. Now what you've said about Fulham. I'm not trying to put anyone off anything. I'm just saying. Fulham are losing a couple of key players. Look, at the end of the day, they're playing Burnley. So, it can only go so badly when you're playing Burnley, right? I would still feel reasonably confident about my Fulham players in game week 16. Oh, you'd have to, don't you? It's a game against Burnley, man. The clear, team to target, right? Thoughts on Doku as a 2-week punt? Prefer Cherky. I do prefer Cherky to Doku. If you go in there. I very well might bring in Cherky next game week for Enzo. I'm really strongly considering it. But it depends what happens this game week. Waiting for more info. Subsline 4 yellows. He is, yes. He is. Sometimes you got to live life on the edge. He's only got to survive a couple of game weeks. What is your transfers in priority list? Sounds like you need to watch buy, sell, keep, avoid, Kyle. I guess Thiago number 1, and then Saka, then Foden, then Bruno. Depends who you already have. But yeah, those kind of players. Defenders, I like Anderson, O'Reilly, Collins, Vandenberg. How many transfers can I keep before game week 19? Sorry, I think I might be ill or a little bit ill maybe. My nose keeps blocking and unblocking itself. You can roll up to 5 free transfers at any given point. If you free hit wildcard, it just wipes out your transfers for that week and then you get them back the following week. You always get your transfers back. Could you do a free hit team? I already did a free hit team. I'll put it on the screen for like 10 seconds for you. There you go. Benching headaches. Yep, give me a second. We'll do that one as well. So we've done the AFCON players. This is the free hit draft and the benching, or the bench list is coming now. There you go. A little bit of something for everyone there. Aaron says, just joined. Do you reckon Timber and Senesi will play? If not, who should I replace him for? And is it okay to take a hit? Timber has really given me pain. I would not be taking a hit to replace Timber or Senesi. Absolutely not. Would not be taking a hit to make those moves. So definitely not on that. I'd rather play with 10 men. I think Senesi will probably play. Timber, I am less sure on. Timber, I'm like 50-50. Senesi, I'm like, I think 75% he'll play. So in theory, you should get one player out of the two. But definitely would not be taking a hit to remove either of them. I can't believe. And Aaron, you're not alone here either, my friend. I'm seeing so many people, either in the YouTube comments or in the chat or on Twitter, saying, I've used all 5 of my free transfers and I'm thinking about taking a hit. How? How have you been? How can you find yourself in a situation where you've got 5 free transfers to use and that's still not enough? How bad could your team possibly be? That I mean, it can't be, can it? It must have been people just spunking on luxury transfers as soon as those 5 free transfers hit their bank. Right, let's make 5 luxury transfers, and then realizing later down the line, oh, okay, I didn't really consider that some players might get injured throughout the week. That's the only thing I can think of, because no team I've seen is bad enough that requires 6 or 7 transfers. I've seen someone on a -8 this week. How is that possible? 5 free transfers and you're on a -8. It's crazy. It's absolutely wild. But it's a wild time in FPL. It is a wild time in FPL. Would you say Mukiele has a chance of a clean sheet? I think any player has a chance of a clean sheet. I don't think it's very likely. I'll probably have it at like 25%, 20% maybe. Probably 20%. 6-7. There it is, boys. He said it. Did I say 6? Oh, I said 6-7 transfers, didn't I? Like how are people making 6-7 transfers? I just don't know. 13 killings with the super chat here says too much, but locked in all 5 free transfers. There's a lot of you guys. So making 5 free transfers, isn't there? Too much, but locked in all 5 free transfers. Lacroix, Richards, Minter, and Jai. Welbeck out for Hincapié, O'Reilly, Foden, Somerslide, and Gu in. Mukiele, Stack, and Gu on the bench now, locked in, but thoughts anyway. My thoughts are that the bench is too weak, but I think you already know that your bench is too weak. Did Richards really need to be sold? Did he even Njai? Did he need to be sold this week? There are obviously some luxury transfers in there. I think you could have gone without Soberslide, for example. But I mean, hey, it's fun. You've got a bunch of players in that you like, and look, I think that is a huge factor. If spending all your transfers is fun and you're having a great time doing it, then, I mean, you are winning FPL far more than anyone stressing out about, oh, I've got to plan for this and plan for this, and oh, I need to finish this rank, blah, blah, blah. It is, yeah, the real winners in FPL are always the people who have the most fun. That's just a fact. That is just a fact. But it's not for me. Oh, I have a delivery. Okay. Can I grab my delivery? Is that okay, guys? Sorry. Can I just grab my delivery from my front door? 1 second. Alright, I'm back. I'm back. That's the one thing with doing streams that are like 2.5 hours long is there's always like I can't just sit on my seat for the whole time. There's always going to be one or two things I need to just like nip off and do. I don't know how people stream for like 8 hours a day and don't move from their seat. It can't be done, surely. You need to go for a wee at some point. Free hit draft. Okay, the free hit draft has been requested again, so that can go back on screen. Don't worry, here's one we built earlier. Right, what else have we got in the chat? Johan says starts Gay versus City or Keane versus Chelsea. Oh my Christ. Neither. Which one? I guess Gay against City because he has the Midas touch right now. Yeah, I mean that makes the most sense to me. FPL Real Talk says Gemini says I'll get 70 plus points. Gemini is not that good, is it? Is Gemini not that good? Is that one of the worst AI? I mean, to be fair, AI models, I mean actual like large language models for FPL are clueless. Like so bad. I mean, they'll recommend you players who retired 3 years ago to buy. Like I would never trust a large language model for FPL advice or FPL predictions, to be honest. The AIs that you see like that are like on FPL specific websites are mostly just algorithms that have been purpose built specifically for FPL, not just LLMs. But anyway, Kick Your Ass says Mbermo to Foden versus Mbermo to Saka, or keep Mbermo. If you have the option to easily sell Mbermo, I would do it. And I would sell him for Saka ideally. But if you would prefer to follow the crowd, Foden, but who do I actually think is the better buy this game week? It's probably Saka. But if you want to just maybe play it a bit safer, maybe Foden. But that's maybe because I think Saka's the best captain this week. If you're not going to captain Saka if you bring him in, then maybe that's an argument for Foden. Marsden says, did 4 transfers. Mateta to Obi, King to Foden, Munoz to Collins, Tosin to Anderson, Gay and Van der Ven cover. Gay and Van der Ven cover Timber. Planning Mbermo to Bruno next game week, but why not do it now? Exactly, Marsden. You've got 1 free transfer left. There is now uncertainty around Mbermo's minutes. Well, not even his minutes, but his availability. So Mbermo to Bruno is that final free transfer. To me, makes sense. I would go ahead and do it, my friend. I'll go ahead and do it. Good morning, Miss Snoopy. Marino won't get minutes anymore. Maybe. I still think he's got a chance. Palmer or Ekatike? I think I prefer Ekatike right now. Replacement for Mateta, I already have Thiago. If you need someone who's playing, I would go for Raul Jimenez. If not, I'd just go for like Mark Q. Bank the cash, spend it on another position. Is Gyökeres an option for a free hit? Only if you're willing to take an enormous risk on Gyökeres' minutes. I would not feel comfortable with that one, so I probably would not do it personally. Would Szoboszlai be a go-to pick outside of your midfielders? Yes, he would. Definitely a player I'm considering at the moment. Probably not going to get him this week, but a couple of weeks' time. Looks good. David says, FPL side, it's a pleasure spending time with you, mate. Well, it's a pleasure spending time with you too, David, and everyone else here in the chat. I always enjoy these ones. Always enjoy these deadline streams. Get to hang out with you guys for a couple of hours on a Saturday morning or afternoon now, as the case may be. Wilson for Minter with 2 free transfers. You could do. Interesting you went with Eza. Most YouTubers hate him as an asset for some reason. Oh, no, I'm not massively keen on Eza as an FPL asset either. He's only in this team as a free hit player. In terms of FPL, he's good for a free hit. I wouldn't buy him if I wasn't on a free hit. Or would I? Maybe I would. If the rest of your team is already really strong, maybe I would. But For 7.8 million to get a rotation risk guy with not particularly strong underlying data, it's he's a tough sell. But for a free hit, you got to take a punt. Why not? Mar Pike says, "Hey mate, good first 11, but only 101.6 team value and still not bench boosted yet." Achimpong, Gu, Mukiele on the bench with Rice in the team. 4 free transfers left. Do I sell Timber for the money? No, I probably wouldn't sell Timber. Yeah, I mean, you really do need to improve that starting level. Is there? Maybe there is an argument to sell Timber and go down to one Arsenal defender potentially. Are you gonna? Yeah, basically, you just got to downgrade someone, but you don't have to do it this game week. You can wait until the game week in which you are actually going to bench boost and do it then. But that seems like a very difficult problem to solve that I don't think I'm going to be able to solve right now. Yeah, that seems like you're going to have to sit down and look at your team for like 45 minutes to figure everything out. I don't think that can be resolved in a quick comment on a deadline stream, sadly. Is Timber a sell? I don't think Timber is a sell, no. Is that your team? No. This is my team currently. Surely Rice just has the flu, he'll play. Yeah, ordinarily. It depends how bad he's got it, though. Like, you can be wiped out for like a week with the flu. Or, you know, even if he's like, if he's not been training or he's not feeling like at 100%, maybe, you know, Arsenal have other options. Why not just play one of those other options? Play, you know, Zubamendi, Rice, and Erdegaard in midfield, for example. And, you know, if Rice is not going to be fully at it, then he goes on the bench. These are the possibilities. We don't have info for Timber. No, we're not going to get any info for the Arsenal players, unfortunately. That's just Arsenal are just, they are passionate about creating mystery about player availability, which is so frustrating because as FPL managers, we want to own their players, but they are intentionally deceptive. Do we want to get rid of Chelsea assets? Probably not this week, but maybe from next week. What do you think about Watkins for this week? It's going to take a little bit more for me to feel convinced on Watkins. O'Reilly or Anderson at Forest? Probably lean towards Anderson at Forest. Seems a little safer. Bank your 4 points and move on. No, maybe even 5 points. I don't mind Anderson this week. I'm quite interested to watch him play. Wait, is the game televised? The Spurs game televised? It is. Am I going to watch it though? Realistically, probably not. Right? What am I going to watch? Man City. Probably going to watch Man City, aren't I? Oh, that's going to be such a boring game. No, I'm going to watch Forest Spurs tomorrow. That's what I'm going to do. I think Forest could pull a surprise against Spurs. I'm thinking the same thing, Anthony. I'm thinking the same thing. And I think, and here's the other thing, I think Forest are going to get a good result against Spurs, a surprise result. And then I feel like if I brought in Anderson of Fulham, I would then be regretting going for Anderson for Fulham because Fulham then face Forest. But yeah, I feel like this could be the game they get a result. Should I start Timber and hold off on the Wilson transfer till next week? If you don't go Wilson this week, then you're not going for Wilson, I would say. But yeah, I would start Timber. Is Eze captain worth it? If you don't have Saka, I don't mind Eze as a captain at all. I don't mind that at all. I quite like it, actually. Keep Senesi for 2 weeks. Yeah, could do. Definitely could do. If you've got other, you maybe got some coverage this game week. Dewsbury Hall versus Chelsea or Raul versus Burnley. Oh, it's Raul versus Burnley. Easy. For this game week in isolation. Xhaka to Wilson. Yeah, you could do. You could do. If you had the money, would you go for Eze as a 1 week punt and then sell him on next week to Semenyo? Sorry, guys. If you want to. Like, it could work out, yeah. Yeah, Enzo down next week could work. I'm probably going to sell Enzo next week. Will Mbermo play on Monday? We don't know. We still don't know. If Timber's bench, would he come off the bench? Yeah, that's a good question. You would hope that if he's injured, he's injured. And it's not like they need to rebuild his fitness after a long layoff or anything like that. He's just been out for like a week. Week and a half or what? How no, it's just been a week, hasn't it? It's literally been a week since he last played football. So it's not like he needs to rebuild his fitness or anything like that. So you would imagine if he is unavailable, then he probably stays benched. You would think. That's my intuition anyway. That's what I would say. Jimenez or Ekatike on a free hit? Probably Raul Jimenez. Will Cherky start? I think he will. What's the news on Declan Rice? There is no news. There's no new news, unfortunately. What's your take on Szoboszlai? I like him. Start Van Dijk or Harry Wilson this week? That's a good question. I guess Harry Wilson. If you've got Harry Wilson, you have to play him, really. Otherwise, why do you have him? Start Van Dijk or Minter? Oh, one player against the other. I think I'd go for Van Dijk. What do you think of Szoboszlai in a free hit team? I think there are probably better options on a free hit team. If I'm buying Szoboszlai, it's because I like his next block of fixtures, not because I like the Brighton fiction in isolation. So I think there are probably better options on a free hit. That's not to say he's a bad pick on a free hit. O'Reilly or Anderson at Fulham. If I was to buy one, I'd probably go for O'Reilly if I had the budget. Who will be a good replacement for Njai next week? Man City midfielder, Cherky potentially there. Who else? Looks good. Szoboszlai, who we've mentioned, of course. Dewsbury Hall looks good from game week 18. But you could, to be fair, Dewsbury Hall, you could go next week, to be fair. Rather, who will you prefer in a free hit team in the midfield? All right, let me just show you my free hit draft that I made earlier. Wait, that's not it. This is it. Get Rice this week. I can't afford Saka. I don't think I would personally take a risk on buying Rice this week. Virgil van Dijk, a good pick. I still like Van Dijk as an FPL pick, but I'm not going to try and persuade anyone on him because I don't think people want to be persuaded on him. But look, his Liverpool's defensive data is great. They are shifting to a more defense-first system. They just kept a clean sheet against Inter. They look solid defensively until someone makes a mistake and then it all falls apart. But if they can stop making those individual errors, then I think they are on for a lot of clean sheets. I think they've got good fixtures. I think Van Dijk is brilliant for defensive contributions. And I also think Van Dijk seems to be getting more and more goal-scoring opportunities from these set pieces. He is a 17-pointer waiting to happen. It's just a case of waiting for it to happen. That's my opinion. If you disagree with all of that or think I'm totally wrong, That's totally fine. I'm not going to argue with anyone today about Virgil. I'm done arguing in favour of Virgil. Just like I was done arguing in favour of Bruno. Sometimes you just got to let the player talk for you. And they might not do that talking straight away. Sometimes they'll never do that talking. But you got to hope they do. Calafiori, sell or keep? Would you move to Anderson and buy Raya? Potentially, yeah. If you want to get that guaranteed Arsenal defensive coverage for this week. Depends how many transfers you have remaining. Probably wouldn't use my last 2 transfers on that. Would you transfer out Enzo and Semenyo for Bruno and Dewsbury Hall? A few people are doing that exact combo of moves. So I'll say yes, I would consider it, yeah. Although, I think it is a little luxurious. But yeah, you definitely could go for that. Is Joao Pedro still a good FPL asset? Not convinced by that one. Not convinced by that one at all. Xhaka to Wilson or Rodon to Anderson? I prefer Rodon to Anderson, personally. Who's on pens when and Jai leaves? I mean, Beto was taking them last time and Jai was unavailable. But Beto's not even necessarily starting right now. It's a tough one. Grealish, maybe. I mean, I know what you're hoping for the answer to be Dewsbury Hall, aren't you? Could be Barry. Could be Dewsbury Hall. I don't know. And from Everton fans I've seen, they're not totally sure either. Cherky I like, but not necessarily for this game week. What should we We haven't had bench list on screen for a while. Let's throw that one on there. Or should we have a... No, we'll do this first. I need to sell one City player to get Foden. Should I sell O'Reilly or Cherky? I'd rather sell Cherky than O'Reilly. Cunha versus Foden for a free hit. I guess Foden because of the form he's in. Captain Haaland, Bruno or Thiago? I would genuinely... Who would I genuinely captain out of those 3 players? I think I'd go Thiago. Would I? Is that stupid? No, I'd go Haaland. Just play it safe. Why not? I don't think I'd go Bruno. Not that there's anything wrong with Bruno, captain. Where would you place Raul and Wilson on your bench list? I mean, at the top. If you have them, you'd play them. All we need to know is, do we start Timber and Rice? Everything else doesn't matter. Yes, you start them. Whether they'll play or not is a different question. But they've got such a good fixture. It's such a good opportunity that you've just got to start them and hope for the best. And that goes for all Arsenal players, I think, this week. Just got to hope. Collins on what for the bench list? Is he not on here? I mean, you go below Anderson this week. You go maybe below Njai. Maybe here. Like you play him, right? Start Burn or O'Reilly. That's a tough one. Maybe O'Reilly. That is really tough. So I put Burn on the bench list. I mean, I've got O'Reilly above Chow, so I guess that makes sense, right? To put Burn even lower. Morning, Mad Sham. Cash. Is Cash not on the bench list? I thought I put him on here. Where would I put Cash? Probably below Chow. Maybe here? Something like that. Probably works. Raul captain, what do you say about that? I say absolutely not. It's not something I would even consider doing personally. But if you, I don't want to tell anyone what to do. I never do. But yeah, there's no way I would even consider doing that personally for my team. If I want to risk, is Thiago a good captain pick? See, yeah, if we're talking about risks, that's more where I'd be willing to go. But I think Saka is risk enough. Clicker says hoping for some Chelsea news. Me too. Because that is the only reason that I haven't made my transfer yet. I am hoping for some Chelsea news, but I don't know if we're going to get it, to be honest. I mean, we can have a little look to see if we're likely to get anything. Team leaks. Nah, got nothing. Got nothing. Oh, show team ganger here. All right, we're back on my team then, I suppose. Raul is missing in the list. It's because it's a bench list. It's not a transfer list. Thoughts on Wisser captain? No, definitely not. Definitely not. Looks like some of the show team gang are here early. Yeah, I know. White or Hincapié on a free hit? On a free hit, I prefer White. Who will you swap Enzo with if you do swap him? I will swap him most likely for Szoboszlai. But honestly, I'm tempted by Cherky, which I could live to regret. Szoboszlai seems sensible. But Cherky, I think, is the player who I really want for the next 2 game weeks. And then after that is when I want Szoboszlai, really. From game week 18, I want Szoboszlai. So from game week 18, I think I'm probably going to do Enzo and Anderson to Szoboszlai and Dewsbury Hall. Probably, maybe. And then maybe bring in an Everton defender somewhere. And that will be Keane in for someone, not sure who. Maybe Richards, maybe Virgil, maybe Timber. Depends. Got 2 more game weeks of information to try and figure things out, or try and, learn what is the right course of action. But yeah, Enzo probably goes next game week anyway. Enzo to Cherky can be an option for next week. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm thinking, yeah. But if Enzo's not starting this week, I'm thinking, if we get a leak, Enzo's not starting, I'm thinking, do I just do Enzo to Cherky this week instead? I can afford that, right? Should actually probably double check that. Cherky hasn't gone up to 6.7, has he? No, he hasn't. Okay, yeah, that's going to be fine. Yeah, 6.4 man. Right. Morning, dude. Should I keep Mbermo in bench for Raul and Wilson? My front is stacked with the usuals. I mean, I think I would start Mbermo ahead of Raul and Wilson. I'm not sure. If you have Mbermo and you're not selling him, I would start him. Szoboszlai for a free hit. He's okay. He would not be one of my favourite free hit players. Start O'Reilly or Timber. I would always start Timber. Apart from Rail, what would be your starting goalkeeper? No one else out there who I'm convinced by. Maybe Sanchez at Chelsea? Maybe. Who should I replace Kudus with? I don't think I'd sell Kudus this week if you don't have a clear replacement in mind. I would only sell Kudus if you have another player who you really want to get. DK repost. Why do you keep saying Szoboszlai for free hit? What does this mean? I've answered this question like 3 times now about my thoughts on Szoboszlai for free hit. Am I misinterpreting this one somehow. Maybe. Smith Rowe or Harry Wilson for this week? Harry Wilson over Smith Rowe. I know you have Eze in your free hit team, but rank best to worst. Rice, Cherky, and Eze. Who are you going for if money is no problem? For a free hit, Eze. For a transfer, probably Cherky. Or maybe Rice if you're feeling risky. But not Eze. I wouldn't transfer in Eze. I wouldn't sell Timber. People talking about selling Timber, benching Timber. The answer is no, 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 in every instance. Do you think Senesi will play, mate? Yes, I do think he will. I know I'm late, but what happened to the Vandenberg transfer? Oh, I was never making that. I am going to probably go for the Collins transfer, but I'm just waiting on Enzo news first of all. What about Ben White? For a free hit, yes. For a transfer, no. Alternatives for Wilson and Dewsbury Hall. Anderson? Maybe. Don't really. What if we're looking for cheap midfielders at kind of that 5 to 5.5 area? Yeah, there's not too many options there. I'll just go with one. To be honest, I'll just go for Wilson or Dewsbury Hall. Really, I don't really think there's much need to go outside of those players. Would you sell Enzo for Bruno G? Probably not. No, I don't think it's a bad move necessarily, but it's not a move I would make personally. Sell Enzo for Wilson. If you want to. Again, not really a move I'm considering. Is it crazy to captain Haaland whilst you have Saka? Not at all. It would be crazier to captain Saka. Saka is the crazy captain. Let's nip this one in the bud. Haaland is your sensible captain. Saka's your crazy captain. It's just that a lot of people, myself included, think that Saka, despite being crazier, is actually also the better captain. Thoughts on Rice captain? Don't like it. Not worth the risk. And, Rice is a very low ceiling player, generally speaking. He won't get over 10 points very often. He just ticks along really nicely. Shall I bench boost if I have Timber? I'm not sure if he starts. It would probably be enough to put me off bench boosting, yeah. Yeah, I probably wouldn't do it personally in your scenario. I don't think. All right, how long we got till deadline, guys? About 46 minutes, 45 minutes, maybe. We are running out of time, aren't we? People still making those decisions. I mean, maybe I am too, to be honest. Do you believe in the FPL Olympian curse? No, not really. I think it's fun and funny, but I don't believe in it, no. I bought a Wobie and later realised AFCON. Damn, man. Why Chow? I mean, Chow's been in my squad for like 2 months. But he's probably not gonna be in my starting 11 come deadline. Is Thiago not crazy? Thiago is also a crazy captain. Thiago is an extra crazy captain. Should I bench Anderson for Cash? No, I play Anderson over Cash. I just spilled my drink. Thoughts on Foden captain? I mean, I'm not super keen on it, really. There's just better options this week. There's better options and the safer options. Foden is neither. Do we keep our United AFCON players or should we transfer them? At this point, I think if you have the free transfers, I would just get rid. I'd just get rid of him. We'll mess around with that one. It's too dangerous. Too dangerous. Baltimore or Ekatike. Probably Ekatike, but like also not that bothered about either player. Or should I say, I don't feel too passionately about either player. Sanchez or Pickford. Sanchez because he's cheaper. That's about all I can say. Is Timber playing? Don't know. Thiago's my captain. What do you think? Support from Egypt. I mean, I do like it. I do like it. He would probably be my third favourite captain for this week. Maybe even second. So he's definitely up there. For me, my order would probably go Saka, Haaland, Thiago, Bruno. I don't know why this pinky finger is trying to stand up. It's meant to be down. Those would be my 4 top. So Thiago's certainly in the top 4. Joel says, Happy Christmas from Canada, mate. Keep up the good work. You coming this way for the World Cup? I will not be coming your way for the World Cup. I would, honestly, I wish I would be able. That would be my dream. It really would, but I just don't. It's just not going to be. It's just not realistic, unfortunately. So we're going to be covering World Cup fantasy from here, but yeah, it's just not just financially the right time for me to be doing big trips over to the US for however many weeks, as much as that would be an incredible experience. Start Welbeck or Minter. I have both. Need to bench one. I would start Minter over Welbeck at this point. Hey mate, start Raul or Wilson from Fulham on a free hit. I'm gonna say Raul. Start Raul. Bench Lacroix or Senesi. I would bench Lacroix before benching Senesi. Who shall I replace Kudus with? If you haven't got a replacement in mind, I would keep Kudus. Saka or Haaland captain. Haaland is the sensible choice. Saka is my choice. Hello, Dan. Cash for Virgil. Not a chance. Not a chance. I could have 100 free transfers and I wouldn't make that move. But if you want to, that is a completely different scenario. People hate Virgil. People love Cash. I'm generally speaking the other way around. So, yeah, I cannot be objective on that one. I much prefer Virgil to Cash as an FPL option. But I understand that that is an unpopular opinion. I think every FPL content creator would have the same opinion as that, but I think in the overall, everyone in the world kind of thing, I think that would be incredibly an unpopular opinion. Dan, what's the highest FPL Gameweek points in your career? Maybe 140 in a single game week, maybe. Play Alderete or Richards? I'd rather play Alderete than Richards. Hey Dan, I thought you upgraded Alderete to Collins. I haven't locked it in yet, just in case. I mean, I'm like 99% doing it, but I just in case there's any last minute team news, particularly around Chelsea, then that might change things. We'll see. Yeah, still not really seeing any team leaks or anything right now, but we are perhaps a little early on that one. Start Gay over Mukiele. Start Mukiele over Gay. Enzo to Sobslai? Maybe. I don't think I'm. If Enzo's, if I don't get an Enzo leak, I'm just going to play Enzo, I think. Is Marino a good option? Not in my opinion. No, too risky for many game weeks. What are the benefits of upgrading Alderete to Collins? Increased squad depth, a better pick for the next 2 game weeks for sure, than what I currently have, and just a nice option to have, generally speaking, with some good fixtures coming up for Collins. So, but mostly it's squad depth. I want to have more depth on my bench because I'm no longer happy playing Alderete. Can't play Obi, and Richards is usually good, but some weeks he's not going to be useful. So I want the squad depth, I want the bench cover, but also I want to just go for something a little bit different. Try something a little bit different, and I think Collins has a pretty good ceiling. And I think he's a really interesting pick. I think he could get a 17-pointer at some point in the next 2 weeks. We'll see. Would you do it if it was Mukiele? Yeah. I would do it the same either way. Yeah, I have no faith in the Sunderland defenders anymore, so that they're not providing that bench cover that I want. I used to want from them. Oh, the other thing, I want to have the option to play a 4 at the back formation as well. That's the other thing. So I don't have to play Anderson every week. I want to have the option to go 4-4-2 in certain game weeks. Dave with the super chat says, used 5 free transfers. Rate my team. All right then. Dubravka, Timber, Hincapié, Anderson, Palmer, Bruno, Foden, Rice, Anderson, Haaland, Thiago. Verbruggen, O'Reilly, Esteve, and Krupi on the bench. I'll come back to that because Biradez. Who's Biradez? Is that Paradez? But you've sent 5 gifted membership. That's incredible. Thank you so much for sending the 5 gifted. Like, 5 people have just got a membership, including 452XI, who I know is a regular chatter in the chat. So perhaps they'll be happy with that one. There you go. Gifted membership. Thank you so much. Legend. Make sure you say thank you, those of you who received the gifted. It is Paradise. Yeah, I thought it was you. Why are we Biradez now? But anyway, going back to... That's incredible, by the way. Thank you so much, man. Going back to Dave. I mean, you've got Rice, Timber, and Palmer, who are all somewhat doubts. But you have O'Reilly on the bench, which is decent cover, at least there. So, what would I rate this team? Got to play Dubravka this week. It's I don't know where the transfers have gone, but it's like, I don't know, 7.5 out of 10 team Dave, maybe 8. There are, maybe it's 7. It's 7. There are some concerns. For having used 5 free transfers and having like 3 flagged players, Dubravka in the starting 11, and Esteve and Krupier's bench cover. There are some concerns there. I'll be honest. I have to be 100% honest. But there you go. There you go. It is what it is. How do we say this name? Bon Ganingwenya. I think I got that right. Says, would you play Anderson versus Tottenham over Chow? Good question. I think I would, yeah. Oh, well, I mean, I probably am going to do that. So, yes, I'm going to say yes to that answer. To that question. Anderson versus Spurs over Chow over Sunderland, yes. What do we got here? So, Oblivious Red says, hi, Dan, bench 1, Elliot Anderson or Welbeck. See, I have a horrible, horrible feeling that Welbeck is going to be benched this week. And as such, I would play Anderson over Welbeck. I would play Anderson over Welbeck. I need to maybe drop Welbeck further down on the bench list because I am seriously concerned about his minutes. So, Dan, if I can't afford Virgil, who should I get instead? O'Reilly, Anderson, Collins, Vandenberg. That's a few good options. Biradez says Dubravka versus Ramsdale. Starting row. Stats show Dubravka is better, but I do believe in miracles. I mean, I would play Ramsdale ahead of Dubravka. Yeah, particularly as a Raul owner. Yeah, I wouldn't think too hard about that one. Yeah, I'll just go with Ramsdale if you have him. The Van Venture says Saka or Thiago captain. Saka is my answer. Play Minter or Richards. I would play Minter over Richards. Top 3 captains for me would be Saka, Haaland, Thiago. Virgil or O'Reilly bench one. That's really tough. I'm going to say bench O'Reilly though. SLF says Palmer has mixed feelings with his groin injury. Exactly. That's why I'm a little bit concerned about Palmer because of, he missed out midweek because of some concerns around his groin. I think best case scenario, his minutes are limited this game week. Best case scenario, he starts and plays 60. I captain Chukwueze from Fulham. Pray for me. That's we'll keep you in our prayers. I mean, I'll honestly, if Chukwueze scores, I will be thinking about you immediately. Borlak says, "Come on, guys, drop a like." Dan works hard on these. Hey, I mean, I work harder on the videos than I do on the streams, but I do appreciate the likes regardless. We have got a super chat here from the Sober Coder. And it's a pink super chat as well. Thank you for that. Very, very generous. Thank you, my friend. Gameweek 16 team after 5 free transfers. Oh, man. A lot of people got 5 free transfers that they've used. Another 5 free transfers team with Dubravka in here. So we've got Dubravka, O'Reilly, Van de Ven, Cucurella, Timber, Foden, Rice, Bruno G, Bruno Fernandes, Thiago Haaland, a bench of Setford. Setford? Is Setford taking up an Arsenal slot? I'm not going mad. Am I? Unless Setford has left. Is he at least 3.9? He is. Oh, Minter, Voltamada, Cash. Well, you got bench coverage, which is good. I mean, Dubravka and Setford as the goalkeeper. Okay, it's interesting. It is unique. Yeah. It is unique. Trying to squeeze out every bit of value, I guess, here. I'm not really keen on Van de Ven. I'm not really keen on Cucurella, particularly after this game week. I'd arguably play Cash ahead of Van de Ven this week. Bruno G, can he keep doing it? What is the honest rating of this team? It's okay, with 5 being average, like the absolute average team, and 10 being like, a really well optimized team, because I think that's the only thing I can really judge it on. This would probably be a 6. There are some strengths. You've got Thiago Haaland, you've got Bruno, you've got Foden, so there's some really nice players like that. You got some players who, like Bruno G, who have been performing, but it doesn't look sustainable. And then there are some questionable picks like Van de Ven and Cucurella. And even I think Minter, Voltamada, Cash are questionable picks as well. And then the Dubravka Setford goalkeeper pair I pretty much despise, which is, I think, really pulling down the rating on this team. I'm so sorry, the Sober Coder, very generous super chat, but Setford needs to go. You cannot be using up an Arsenal slot on a 3.9 million goalkeeper, and you cannot be playing Dubravka every game week. Like the worst team in the Premier League, and you've got a defensive asset from their team every week for the rest of the season. Something's got to be done. I'm so sorry to be brutally honest, but I guess that's... You wanted a rating. You wanted a rating. It's a 6 out of 10. Unfortunately. There are some strengths to it, but there are also a lot of glaring weaknesses. I think one of the things that has brought some of these team ratings that I have done down a little bit is the fact that it took 5 transfers to get to there. I think if that was your team, like, and you've still got 2 free transfers remaining to maybe fix some issues in future game weeks, then I would, be, I think, a lot more generous with the ratings, because it'd be like, yeah, okay, this looks okay for this game week, and then you can move things around in the next game week to continue to optimize as you go. But yeah, I think because 5 free transfers and we got Tommy Setford and Dubravka as the 2 goalkeepers. Like, I don't even know how that's happened. That idea would have never even occurred to me. So look, it's different, it's interesting, and I always praise people for going different. We'll put it that way. But it's not something I would do. And I think a lot of other people not super keen on that as well, looking at the chat. But anyway, I'll stop roasting your team now, because I think he's had enough. He's dead already. Would you start Anderson over and Jai? Probably, yeah. Probably would. I really like Anderson as a pick for this game week. At Fulham, that is. Over the next 5 game weeks, Mbermo or Semenyo, please help. Oh, well, definitely Semenyo. Hang on, let's move to this page. Because Mbermo is going to AFCON. He might even be gone this game week. We don't know. Any Rice news? No. What's your take on Ben White? Good for 1 game week. Terrible beyond that, is what I would say. Thiago captain, maybe, if you want to. A lot of people are going for Thiago captain this week. So if you are going Thiago, you are certainly not alone. Hi, Dan. 2 transfers left. Worth doing Elliot Anderson to Wilson for a pump. Not something I'm personally interested in. I mean, I've got 3 free transfers left, or technically I have 4. I have Elliot Anderson. Could go for Wilson. Not going to do it. Yeah, don't know if it's worth it. Oh, wow, that's a lot of Man United players. Yeah, 3 United players. Also 3 Fulham players. 3 Sunderland players there. Or 3 key Sunderland players, I guess. So yeah, there are genuinely a couple of teams that are missing some players, which is of some concern, I suppose. Would White start? Yes, this week. Shout out to Hincapié. Could do. Should Arteta be injected with a truth serum before every pre-match conference? Would be an FPL, would make FPL simpler. It certainly would. That would be amazing if that was possible, but sadly, I don't think it is. What else have we got here? I have Emi, Martinez, and Dubravka, and 2 free transfers left. Should I upgrade Emi to Raya? I think I genuinely would, yeah. If you have the free transfer and a free Arsenal slot, why not? Why not? Solves a long-term goalkeeper problem, doesn't it? I think I'd do it. Carl says, would you sell Anderson or Minter to Atara for a 1-week pump? No, I wouldn't. Not for a 1-week pump. I wouldn't bother. Yeah, 2 transfers just to get Dango in. How much are we expecting from Dango, honestly, to make that worth it? If we say 2 free transfers is worth 8 points, you're really counting on Dango scoring 8 more points than Anderson or Minter. I mean, Anderson will score 4 points as a base, so you need Dango to score 12 points minimum for that to come off. It's possible, but it's so unlikely. 452 says, are there any training photos of Timber? Sadly not, but that's not surprising because Arteta hides his players from training, well, refuses to release any training photos of players who are doubtful, even if they are in training. He hides the photos. He is a lunatic, man. He's a loon. Who to sell, Enzo or Minter? Probably lean towards Enzo, but neither are essential sells. Captain Bruno or Thiago? I think I'd rather Captain Thiago than Bruno. Should I buy Guimaraes for Rice and then buy Rice for Guimaraes when fit? If you want to. I mean, I don't think I would do that. Anderson or Collins? For most people, the answer is Anderson. Should I bench Timber for Chow just in case Timber doesn't play? No, you should play Timber just in case Timber does play. That's what I would say. Palmer or Gordon on a free hit? Neither. I don't think I'd go for either personally. If I had to choose one and money's no issue, I guess I go for Palmer. But I just have a feeling that question is probably more complicated than meets the eye. Captain Haaland or Thiago? Sensible choice is Haaland. Any news on if Enzo is starting? No, and I need that news as well. Because that dictates my moves. It really does. Or at least impacts my moves, let's put it that way. Yeah, no team news, anything like that. Play Timber or Senesi? I would play Timber. I would always play Timber. If you have Timber, I would play him. Is Chabby a good pick for just this game week? I'm not feeling it. O'Reilly versus Richards. I play O'Reilly. Should we get the bench list back on? There seems to be a few bench-related questions. So let's put this back on the screen for us. There you go. Dewsbury Hall or Gew? I'd play Dewsbury Hall. I don't think Gew is guaranteed any minutes. It's Everton. Surely Enzo can do an assist or 2 minimum. I would hope he can get something from this game, yeah. Which is why I'm leaning towards keeping him. Stack over Chow? Nah. Cash or Chalobah? To buy? Neither. Unless you forced me to pick, in which case I'd probably go Chalobah. Is it bad to have a bench boost that has Mukiele and Chow in the team? I don't think so. No, I don't think that's so bad. Where would Mukiele be on the bench list? Is he not already on it? Next to Alderete, presumably. Yeah, he is. He's right next to Alderete. They come as a pair. Is Rice fit to play? Who knows? We don't know. And we won't know. Can I wait one more week to bring in Foden? Oh, I think you can. I think you can. If you're happy to bet against the crowd on this one, then yeah, I think it's fine. Is there some reason Enzo might not play? I think fatigue is the answer there, really. There has been like Enzo and Cucurella were name checked as players who are suffering with some fatigue at the moment. So I think that is the worry. So whether it's going to be this week, a benching, or, coming soon at some point. Are you confident that Lewis Skelly is playing this week? I wouldn't say 100%, but yeah, reasonably confident, yeah. Is Mbermo a must sell down to Bruno? I don't think it's a must sell, but, if you have no bench cover, um, moving him to Bruno could be a safe way to deal with that situation. Who's your captain? My captain's Saka. Does Mbermo start? If he's available, yes, he definitely starts if he's available. The question is whether he is going to be jetting off to AFCON before Man United play Bournemouth. That's the big question right now, which I believe we still don't have the answer to. I wish we did, because that would clear up a lot of questions. Yeah, I can't find anything. All right, what we got here? Where would Wilson be on the bench list? Pretty high. Right, pretty much at the top. Yeah, if you have Fulham players, you play them pretty much as a rule. Like, as a rule, if you've got a regularly starting player against Burnley, you start them every game week without question, I would say. Clean sheet and expected goal odds. Yeah, we can have a look at that. I can find it. Shouldn't take too long. Oh, we got some updates this morning, didn't we? I didn't actually read these this morning, but I haven't shared them with you guys. Bear with me, guys. Okay. There you go. So here are the latest projected goals and clean sheet odds. So we do have a few teams on reasonably good odds here for clean sheets. You got Arsenal, Chelsea, and Fulham primarily. Then outside of that, it's a little bit more of a danger zone, a little bit riskier. Boy, guys, I'm so tired. I think that's one of the reasons I'm not really a fan of Cash, because 31% clean sheet odds in his best fixture in the next 4. Like, this is the best you're going to get from Cash. And it's kind of like pretty average. But yeah, anyone above 30%, I'd be comfortable playing. Below 30%, you start to question it a little bit, particularly if they don't have DEFCON potential. Forest look like they're projected to beat Spurs, though, which is super interesting. I honestly think it could happen. For only this game week, who are the best Arsenal players? Said Sid Vicious. Saka, Eza, Lewis Skelly, or maybe Ben White, possibly. Cash is a goal scorer, maybe. Sometimes he scores goals. Sometimes he doesn't. The fixtures aren't good enough to justify him. Look, you don't buy a defender for maybe sometimes getting goals. That's not enough. Alex says, do you respect my decision of captaining Bruno? I do respect it. I do respect it indeed. Looking through some of these goal odds, by the way, Man United are up there. So Arsenal have the highest projected goals at 2.73. Liverpool in second with 1.97, which is pretty high. Man United third, 1.93. And then we do have a bit of there's a huge drop off between Arsenal and everyone else. But Man City 1.79, Chelsea 1.72. There's not really any huge numbers outside of Arsenal. Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, and Man City are always going to be up there. But outside of that, where are you looking? Even Brentford against Leeds, 1.56. Even Fulham against Burnley, 1.43. It's not enormous, is it? Crab World says, sure you do. You do buy defenders just because they sometimes score goals, even if you're not expecting clean sheets, defcons, anything else. Defenders are too much of a complicated position now. You got to think about way more than that. My opinion, of course, but everyone has a different opinion. But anyway, people are asking for the bench list again, so let's throw that on screen. Crab World, fair enough, man. You do you, my friend. It's not for me. It's not for me. Do you think I can get away with a bench of Lacroix, Roden, Gue? Currently have Timber and Rice flagged on my team. Look, it's not ideal. It's not ideal. Ideally, I think you upgrade Rodon, but yeah, I'd upgrade Rodon if possible, but if it's not possible, it's not possible. Ekati can Subsite on a free hit. I don't think I would do it personally, but yeah, there are options for sure. I just don't know if I love this game week for Liverpool necessarily. I think Liverpool will go defense first in this game and prioritize a clean sheet. I feel like Cash is like Van de Ven in that he's a good player who rarely scores, but not the best FPL pick. Yeah, I think you pretty much aced it. I think Cash will be the new Van de Ven. Everyone rushes to a certain defender because they happen to have scored a goal recently. And then they score 2 points every week for the next month because they don't have DEFCON and they don't have clean sheet potential. Jonathan Roberts says, triple captain Saka. Look, if you want to, I'm not going to be the person to push you over the edge on that one. I'm not going to be the person to push you over the edge on the Saka triple captaincy. I have a triple captain, and I'm not going to triple captain Saka. That's all I'm going to say. So it's not something I'm going to do. It could work out. I don't hate it. I don't think it's a bad decision, but I'm not going to do it. Cash has got 3 goals. So does Van de Ven. Why don't you buy Van de Ven? Van de Ven also has 1 good fixture and then terrible fixtures after that and no DEFCON, but some goal threat. Why is Cash so special and why is no one talking about Van de Ven? It's the same situation. Because people have a recency bias. That's the reason. The real reason is people have recency bias. They see a player who scored recently and think, that's going to happen every week, isn't it? Surely. Van de Ven is SHIT. And Cash is good. Hypocrite. Hypocrite. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. Hypocritical. If you do like both players, I think, I'd be more willing to say, yeah, fair enough. You like both. But you can't like one without the other, I don't think. Keane on the bench list. Yeah, okay. I think if Keane is not on there, we can put him on. We'll just put him next to Tarkovsky. There we go. Could you show your team? Yes. Yes, I can. But be aware, my team is not locked in yet. In fact, let's go here and... In fact, I need to do this. Okay, let's save that. I think I'm just going to go ahead and make this transfer and stop overthinking it. If there's a leak about Enzo, I will buy Cherky. I'm just going to do it. Okay, so let's make this transfer. I'm just going to go for it. Alderete out, Collins in. It's not for everyone, but it is for me. Let's just double check, refresh to make sure my team is correct. I've seen, by the way, I don't know if you guys have you guys seen this? A lot of people are saying on Twitter And I don't know if it's cap, but people are saying that they're setting their team and it's like not working correctly. And like they're setting their team and like or at least the order of players, like who they're benching and who they're starting. And it will revert back to like what they had their team set as like a day before or something. Which is really weird. So people are getting, they're not even realizing until the deadline is passed, and for some reason they've got a player starting who shouldn't be starting and a player on the bench who shouldn't be on the bench, and no idea how that happened. So just to say, guys, you've seen me save this. You see that I can't click the save button. You see me refresh the page. I'll refresh it again. I 100% have Collins starting over Chow, Richards, Obi. If it switches Chow and Collins, then something's gone wrong somewhere. But yeah, I have seen a couple of people report it on Twitter. So I don't know if it's real or not, but maybe it is. Maybe it is. Right, I think I'm locked in, to be honest, guys. I can't really see myself doing anything here. Unless I get a leak that Enzo isn't starting, but I don't think that's very likely to happen. We've got the three free transfers. So we can always make some changes next week if we need to. I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy. Four free transfers next week. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So I have 3 left now, and I'll have 4 next week. Roy said we're on the exact same rank / point stand. Crazy. Well, we'll have to see who wins out, Roy. Me and you between now and the end of the season. Looking for a differential captain. Is Gordon versus Sunderland a shout? Not super keen. Do you think Harry Wilson is a nice differential shout? I'm not as keen on Harry Wilson as maybe some other people are. I'm more of a data guy, and Wilson doesn't have that data, so not for me. But he's been scoring points, so you know that's a lot. That means a lot to a lot of people. Who plays on the wing other than Saka? Who's going to play on the other wing? Probably one of Martinelli or Eza. I'll play on the left wing. But honestly, I think this week, if Rice is available, it'll be Rice playing defensive midfield this week, and it'll be Eza and Erdegaard in front of Rice, or just Zubamendi plays there. But I think Rice and Erdegaard will play together as 2 central midfielders, or Erdegaard and Marino maybe could come in there in the centre, and Gyökeres go up front, potentially there as well. There's some different options. Roy says, my points are thanks to your vids, so you win either way. You know what, mate? To be fair, that is the most important thing, is that as long as I'm helping other people, then I get to keep making FPL videos, and I like making FPL videos. So that's my priority. How come you prefer Cherki to Doku next week? I just think Cherki is more explosive. Doku's good for the old assist. Doesn't really get bonus points. Cherki is just has everything, it seems. So that's why I prefer Cherki next game week. But this game week, I actually think I maybe would prefer Doku. Because Doku will be playing on the left against Nathaniel Klein, and probably will get some opportunities to get some crosses and get some assists in there. But will he score? Doku? Probably not. So does he have that upside that I'm looking for? Maybe not. WX293 says Semenyo or Timber to start. My gut says Semenyo. If you got Semenyo, you should do it. But generally speaking, I would start Timber no matter what this game week and just hope for the best. Any team leaks? I'll keep checking. We'll keep checking. Can't see anything. How about Tete over Anderson, mate? Nah, you need Anderson for the advantage of Anderson is his defcom. Like that's the key for him, really. Super chat from Matt. Thank you very much, Matt. Very generous of you. I have Timber, Richards, Virgil with Van der Ven on the bench. Would you transfer Van der Ven for Van den Berg? Can't afford Collins. Do you have Anderson? I'd rather go for Anderson than Van den Berg if it's possible. And yeah, but I think I would do it. And you are running out of time, my friend. So I would do Van der Ven for Anderson and bench Richards. If you can't afford that, then I would probably just play Van der Ven over Richards, to be honest, and reassess next week. You could do Van den Berg, but I'm slightly less keen on that move. Like I prefer, I very clearly my order is team dependent: Collins, Anderson, and then Van den Berg. That's what I would say there. Anyone asking about Timber and Rice at the last minute? We don't know. We're not going to find out. The game is not until, was it at 8 tonight? Arsenal are not going to leak any information in the next 3 minutes. I think you just got to start them and hope for the best. Sorry, I missed the past 2 hours. Any last minute breaking news? Unfortunately not, Thomas. I wish there was. I could do with a bit more information. Chow or Anderson for starting? I would start Anderson over Chow, yeah. I'd start Anderson pretty much in all teams. Dewsbury Hall or Wilson, who to bench? If you have Wilson, if it's Harry Wilson, I'd play him. If it's Callum Wilson, I'd bench him. That's what I would do. Thiago or Bruno as captain? I think I slightly prefer Thiago, but Bruno's good too. White or Hincapié from Arsenal long term? Definitely Hincapié. Chow or Van Dijk to start? I mean, I'm starting Virgil and benching Chow, so hopefully that's going to answer that one. What else have we got here? I think that's pretty much it. What about Palmer for free hit? I'm not confident on his minutes. I'm not confident enough on his minutes. Thinking of doing Keenan for Senesi and Raya to Pickford for game week 18. Yeah, I mean, something similar to that I think a lot of people will be doing. Gahey versus Anderson. Definitely Anderson for this game week, but you are running out of time. There are like seconds left before the deadline. There's no Enzo leaks. Ekatike starts. I mean, there's a leak for you for Liverpool, but I don't think anyone was doubting that one. But yeah, that's going to be it, I think, guys. I think no more decisions can be made in such few seconds. Or can they? I don't know. Can anyone do anything crazy? Is anyone changing their minds? In fact, I'll let you guys do what you need to do. And then in 15 seconds, I'm going to ask if anyone made any last minute changes. But we're about to be locked in, guys. Am I 100% set? I am. Team looks good. Team looks ready. And there we go. We are locked in. Wow. I want to know, guys, did you make any last minute decisions. And I'm talking in the last couple of minutes before deadline. Did you make any last minute big shakeups? Transfers, captain switches, benching switches, any chips activated? Tell me everything. Tell me everything. So, what do we got? WX did Timber for Chow. We started Timber instead of Chow. I think that was the right move if that's what you did. Captain Thiago last minute. Chow to Van Dijk. Triple Captain Saka. Oh, I love it. I love it. Captain Saka. Jared says Erdegaard time. Black Rock Alex. Captain Timber. That is risky. That is very risky. Devilman. Captain Thiago. Ital Designs bought Collins for Ballard. I like it, man. I like it. Randy says Alderete to Anderson, mate. The last minute moves. I like it. I like it. Mateta bench for Minter. Okay, okay. That go either way. That could go either way. But not a bad decision by any stretch of the imagination. Captain Eze. I don't mind it. I don't mind Captain Eze. Triple Captain Saka. Again there. I got Timber, but will bench boost anyway. Hey, why not, man? Why not? Hope for the best. Be optimistic. Captain Ben White. Wow. That is wacky. Palmer captain last minute. We'll see how that one turns out. We got a couple of people triple captain Saka last minute. We've got a few people who've done it. Hopefully that gives confidence to each of the Saka triple captainers. You are not alone at all. Not another Eze 20 point Saka 4, please. Yeah, don't. I kept Chukwueze as captain. I was this close. I'm excited for you to see how that one turns out. I free hitted, started 16 minutes before deadline, took Ekatike and Wilson White, rest the same as your free hit team. Nice, man. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, well, I suppose at this point, we've got 2 games of team news to come in the 12, 13 minutes time. We may as well stick around and and see what happens. I'm just going to put out a tweet of my team. In fact, I'll just do it on here. There we go. Let's go to my profile and compose a tweet. Give me a lucky emoji. What did I do? I did Mateta. Give me an arrow. There we go. There's an arrow. To Thiago. And I did Alderete to Collins. Yes, I know about the yellow cards. Please stop telling me. Actually, there we go. Saka captain. Copyright symbol for this one. Saka captain. 3 free transfers rolled into Gameweek 17. Squad in a good shape, but have lots of ideas. Lots of fun ideas. Good luck, everyone. Good luck to everyone who... good luck to Saka captainers only. And then we'll do a little lucky symbol. Why is FPL not working? The deadline's passed, my friend. They do this every game week. Since deadline passes, the game goes into a state of update. But yeah, that's it, right? Mateta, Thiago, Alvarez, Collins. Right, there we go. There is my team. Should we pin this? We might as well pin this. Right. Let's have a look at the chat. What are we saying over here? Let's leave my team on screen. I'll get rid of that. There we go. Well, why is this look a bit weird to you? Where's that? What's that white bit? This is like not framed correctly. Why is it not framed correctly? Maybe because the game is updating, it's got a bit funny. Or maybe it's going to do a screenshot. Who knows? Who knows? But regardless, that is my team. Apologies for this weird little white gap that's here for some reason. Don't know why it's doing that. Don't know why it's doing that. Captain Iwobi, wish me luck. I don't think that's true. Leon, you are a serial capper. As I see in the chat, which is why I don't really read out your messages. Talking Drums says, Captain Haaland because I think Crystal Palace is fatigued and the defense is weakened. You know what? There's logic to that. There is logic to that. I bought in Dango in forgetting he's going to AFCON. It still could work out as a 1 week punt. We'll have to wait and see, won't we, on that one. Bench boost with Senesi, Timber, Rodon, Calvert, Lewin, and Dubravka. That is risky. That is risky. Rohit says I did Mateta to Thiago, Senesi to Collins, Emmy to Raya, and Burmo to Foden. Good moves. Good moves. Zach, Captain Bruno, and Rob says I'm glad we're both on the Collins train, mate. We're gonna ride or die together. We'll have to wait and see what happens. It could go either way. It could go either way. Look, I think this could be fun. I think as long as you've got a strong squad, Collins is going to be a nice pick. Actually, accidentally made a wrong transfer, which forced me to use live. Oh no! Look, it's a good week to make a mistake. At least you've got the transfers to fix it, rather than having to go into the game week with the wrong players. Ital Design said had the captain on armband on Rice, chickened out and went Haaland. I think that was the right move. I think that's the right move. Rashid bought in Welbeck as a differential. Rashid, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I want you to be prepared for the next 5 minutes. I think there is a significant chance that Welbeck is benched. So I want you to be prepared for that possibility. We'll find out in 5. But be aware, there is rumours circulating that Welbeck is not going to be starting. That I saw this morning. Which I saw earlier, because maybe I could have said that. Well, I mean, to be fair, I said it earlier in the stream, but what can I do? I can't give information constantly. I'm not a... I gotta sleep. Gotta sleep. What about the worst case, Collins, if he gets yellow this week? What do you do? If Collins gets a yellow card this week, I might move him to O'Reilly. If he basically gets a yellow card any other week, I'll keep him. But like, I've got a bunch of free transfers, and I'm pretty happy that if something does go wrong, we can resolve it. So yeah, I would ideally like Collins for the next 3 game weeks, if possible. I don't mind if he gets a yellow card after that. He's fine for this game week. I will hopefully he doesn't get a yellow card. Basically, hopefully he doesn't get a yellow card in the next 2 weeks. If you can avoid a yellow card in the next 2 weeks, I'm happy. If he gets a yellow card on the 3rd week, any time after that, I'm absolutely fine with it. But we'll see. Keen or gay? Neither, but also we're past deadline, so it's a little late because we are locked in. Coyote throwing straight onto Vandenberg's big noggin. Hey, that but Collins, please. That but Collins. That's what I want to see. Be nice. Be very nice. All right, come on. We've got a few minutes until the team news. I'm a little nervous about Enzo, I can't lie. Like, surely he plays. Hamza, the deadline's passed, my friend. How much was your total points at this point last season? Is there jumping overall points this year for everyone? I have no idea what I was at last year at this point, but presumably there's been a jump because there's more access to points. Because of all of the DEFCON points, I guess. Maybe Salah isn't starting, apparently. I don't know. I'm trying to find like little leaks to see if we can get some extra information before the deadline, but why are you worried about Enzo? Just because of comments around his fatigue this week. Like I think Enzo's like 90% gonna start, but it's like always that 10%, isn't it? Mr. Marinakis is watching you. Oh well, I hope he watches me picking Anderson and cheering Anderson on to score a hat trick against Spurs. That's what I want to see. I want to see a massive swing for Anderson owners. Because he's probably one of my bigger differentials this week, alongside Collins, I guess. And of course, Saka capped him. Everyone else is pretty straightforward, like pretty much players everyone has, right? Maybe not Enzo. But yeah, it seems like a lot of teams have kind of converged to something similar to this, right? Like at least Haaland, Thiago, Bruno, Foden, Saka. Like, and then there's only other 2 spots for attackers. So really, you've got 2 spots for attackers to go different. I've got Enzo and Anderson currently. But yeah, it could be anything. I mean, a lot of people go 4-4-2. I've seen this week as well. A lot of people going for a 4-4-2, and I can't blame them either. Any worry about 1 or 2-0 win for Arsenal with no Saka involvement? Yeah, of course it could happen. Anything can happen in any game week. We can't just worry about everything. I feel like the defense is where the template is all over the place. Yeah, I would tend to agree with that one. But honestly, like, I'm not really sure who is going to be the best defenders. I mean, there's outside of Arsenal, no one's keeping clean sheets. So, like, what are you going to do? I think a lot of people are kind of stuck in this situation where you're like, okay, do we just go for players who will get DEFCON points? If so, like Virgil, Collins, Anderson, something like that. Some people are looking for attacking returns, so they're going for like O'Reilly or Cash. and just like hoping for some clean sheets somewhere in between that. It's so difficult to really make that distinction. Enzo starts right here. So Scott says it as well. All right, well, I'm guessing this is on the Chelsea. They posted it already. This is what I needed to know. All right. Oh, all lineups are in. All right, in that case, let's go here. And go here. Okay, well, let's just go one by one. Chelsea, first of all. We've got Reece James is starting. We've got Enzo, Neto, Palmer is starting. As is Joao Pedro. No Mark Gu. No Tosin there either. So Fofana is starting ahead of Tosin. Don't know if anyone's got Tosin in their team still or not. Cucurella starts as well. So I think no major disasters there unless you're a Tosin owner. Don't think really many people expected Gu to start, but maybe some people have him in their squad. But anyway, let's move on to Liverpool. No Salah. Oh, he's on the bench. Isak also on the bench. Okay, so we've got Alisson, Gomez, Van Dijk, Konate, Kirkes, Vert, Szoboszlai, McAllister, Jones, Ekitike, Gravenberg. That's pretty defensive. That's pretty defensive. I think we're looking at a defense-first Liverpool team right now. It's not bad though. I think it's good for Van Dijk owners. I think that is good for Van Dijk owners. Szoboszlai, I think, is good with no Isak and Salah. It means Szoboszlai's probably on penalties, unless one of those guys comes in, which is very good, very nice. For Brighton, yeah, it's pretty much what I said earlier, isn't it? Jorginho playing up front, no Welbeck. There you go. There you go. I might actually... I'm going to make some changes to my draft fantasy team as soon as this stream ends. But yeah, we got Van Hecker starting. No, a lot of people have him. Is anyone else? Minter's playing. No one else major missing, is there? Mittermont on the bench. Where is De Kuiper? De Kuiper's not playing. De Kuiper on the bench. Yeah, no Welbeck is something that we did kind of... I don't want to say saw coming, but we did kind of predict it earlier. Everton, we've got Pickford, O'Brien, Tarkowski, Keane, Mikalenko. Pretty much their standard team. Yeah. Is that even any changes from last game week? It might not be. This is just their box standard team they play every week. And that's going to be it, right? That's going to be it. All right, guys. Well, how do we feel about that? I mean, other than Welbeck, I think Welbeck's maybe Salah are probably the biggest disappointments for a lot of FPL managers so far. Everything else seems to have gone pretty well, I think, in terms of those lineups so far. But loads of football to be had. I can't believe both Chelsea and Liverpool against Everton and Brighton, respectively, who are good teams, big teams. All of these games are not being broadcast in the UK legally. That's outrageous. It's absolutely outrageous. But alas, guys, we are going to leave things there. Thank you so much for joining me on the deadline stream today. If you haven't subscribed already, and I'm sure you probably have if you're watching this far in, please do so. We're going to be back tomorrow with an early decisions video. I want to go through some early decision stuff tomorrow. So we are going to make a video tomorrow. Sometimes we do Sunday videos, sometimes we don't. This week we will. So I hope to see you guys there. And then it'll be regular content throughout the week. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you over on Twitter if you're on there for the reactions for all of the games across the weekend. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the football. Good luck this game week. And I will see you later. Wait, hang on. Where's the outro? Here it is. Okay. And I will see you later. Mates. Bye-bye.